What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today, MSTR. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 30th day of May today. Here we are, $362 now, 3 hours, 10 minutes left in the day. And if we take our relative low here to a relative high, you can see that we are just below our 236, consolidating right below it there. This is very typical when working your way down to the 382 and finding support there. I would expect very much that we go down to $342 and we find support right there. I'm going to put a line on that line and just refresh where we are as far as the price goes. Okay, right there, we delete the fibs. You can see that 382, the area, the next fib to find support at, is right here in this prior area of resistance, right here at this prior area of resistance and this prior area of support, somewhat of a significant area overall. I wonder if it's even significant on this fib. Let's see, from a high here to a low there. Kind of just below the 0.5. Not really significant, but that's okay. It's actually very common to go from your golden ratio to your 0.5 and even just below your 0.5, so that's actually fair. Inevitably, we will grow. We will move up higher. I just think the RSI is going to cool off a little bit more. The price is going to cool off. You can see here, you bounced. You found support. Nice. You found support here. Here, you're kind of meandering. You had your chance to bounce, and you just didn't do it. You meandered a little bit here, in all fairness, but you had a higher low. Here, it's looking like a lower low. So I think that we're going to move lower. We're probably going to break out of this higher low structure and come down to the oversold area itself, where we like to find support, where we like to find support here and all throughout here. So it just makes sense to go down to that 35 or lower area on the daily time frame. It might not be today. Today is Friday, so if in the next 3 hours and 8 minutes we do make our way down there, that's good. That'll encourage me to believe that next week just starts off with a bang. But if we are closing at this price and by the end of the day we're still at this price, then I would anticipate that maybe Monday or Tuesday next week we do go down to 343. There's no way really around this $343 price. So I very much believe that it's inevitable at this point. $342. It's inevitable. That 382 is nothing to mess with. Breaking below the 236 like this is nothing to mess with. So you got very overbought. You're going to cool off. That's that. You know what I mean? Looking at the weekly time frame here, you were also right at the overbought zone on your weekly time frame, but you rejected it. And this is what those rejections mean, right? I remember 2 weeks ago we were talking about not rejecting. We wanted this week to close green, but it closed red, so that sets us up for a rejection. A rejection we got, and oftentimes with rejections on the weekly time frame or on any time frame, when you reject the overbought zone, you don't look to find support at the 60. Rather, you look to find support at the 50. If you can find support at the 60, that's a good thing. You oftentimes will recover, but it's not the expectation. The expectation normally is the 50, the 40, the oversold area when you reject the overbought zone, right? And let's just go back in time and validate that here maybe. I mean, here, this is kind of a rejection. You got in, you got out the next week, and you found support between the 50 and the 40. That's kind of a good representation of that. Let's see. I would call that a rejection of the overbought zone. You found support below the 50. You even got oversold before you actually started to run up higher. Rejected the overbought zone. You found support at the 60, but you didn't do anything with it. That's a bad example of support at the 60. But hey, if you don't do anything with that, yeah, you're going to go lower, of course. Overbought zone rejection, same thing. Normally, you find support at the 60. That does mark a good thing, but maybe not for MicroStrategy for whatever reason. Every chart has their own personality. And it's not a guarantee every single time, right? Like here, finding support at the 60, it did you well. But anyways, guys, it makes sense we'd go a little bit lower. That's all I'm trying to say. On the daily time frame, on the weekly time frame, no matter what you're looking at through the fibs, it all makes sense that we'd go a little bit lower. Inevitably, we will continue higher. We are in the middle of a breakout move after all. We broke out of this downward sloping channel here that we were in for months. We've broken out of it. We've only recently broken out of it. Stupendous growth. We're just taking a little breath before we continue to grow again. Okay, that's my expectation. When we do grow for MSTR here from a high to a low, the expectation would be that we run all the way up to prices that are above $1,000, right? The target area is about $1,153 to $1,300, something like this, and it's very possible that we could go a little bit above it. I never really call for this zone between the 200 here and the 2272. I never call for this area as an area to find resistance. It's either you find resistance here or you find resistance here, right? But I think that there is a solid chance where MSTR does wick above the 200, and we do see prices, something that's above 1,300 yet below 1,600. Wouldn't surprise me by the end of June. If not, actually, at this point in time, I think it might be sometime in July, early July, mid-July, something like that. But we'll see. Definitely over the summer. I don't really think I have anything else that I want to say. I've said everything that I need to say. Just prepare yourselves for slightly lower prices. We're at 360 now. We'll drop about $20, and then sometime next week we should be in recovery mode. We should be starting to move back up again, right? But it all depends on Bitcoin. And right now, Bitcoin, I'll tell you what, breaking below 103.9K here, the odds of us going a little bit lower, down to about 101,000 are there. I think what we're going to set up for right now, you guys, You're going to hear everybody talk about it next week. It's not right now, but you're going to hear everybody talk about it next week. Believe me. I'm psychic right now. I'm rubbing my crystal ball. This is what they're going to say. They're going to say, look, guys, Bitcoin has a head and shoulders pattern, okay? It's clear as day. We have a head and shoulders pattern. We're going to go down. That was it. It's a bearish pattern. But what people don't take into consideration is that bearish patterns tend to perform less well in bullish environments, and we're in a bullish environment right now. Don't get me wrong, head and shoulders are nothing to take lightly, but there is a percentage chance that it doesn't break out to the downside and that we do break out to the upside. There are bearish patterns that get busted, just like there's bullish patterns that get busted, right? Let's see if we've got an example of that. This here was a bull flag, right? You moved up, you flagged out, you had your flag right here, and you busted it to the downside. Bull flag broke out to the downside, and you're at all-time highs even, right? Bullish patterns can be invalidated, bearish patterns can be invalidated, but mark my words, man. Over the coming days, probably over the next week, Bitcoin's going to do something like this, and it's going to look like a head and shoulders pattern, and instead of breaking to the downside, it will break out to the upside. That's what I'm expecting. Anyways, with that, I would expect MSTR to move down. With that, I would expect MSTR to probably consolidate, even actually going into next week. I think that we're going to have a downward time and a boring time over the next week, and then the second week of June, that might be the week that we actually pump. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.